Hello, I'm Jennifer Bryan, and I'm the chair of the Cape Antiracism and Anticolonialism Committee. I am happy to give you this update on our activities over the past year. Our committee is about 4 years old now and came about as the result of the Cape Symposium on Antiracism and Anticolonialism in Emergency Medicine. We have a very active executive committee, including myself as chair, Jaspreet Kangura as vice chair, Tarsini Sivananda-Jyoti, resident rep, Taylor Dupuis-Shalovsky and Bethlehem Lema as our student reps, Janet Rodriguez as our community rep, and James Liu, Taylor Lougheed, and Sarah Alavian as our members at large. There will be new opportunities for those interested in joining the executive of this committee in the coming months. Please do stay tuned. I'd like to start off with a big thank you to Janet Rodriguez. Janet is our community rep and will be completing her 2-year term this year. Janet has done an incredible job with our committee, including on some of the projects that I'll be talking about in the next few minutes. Janet is the first community representative on a CAPE committee and has certainly set the bar high. So thank you so much, Janet. Our 4 main goals over the past year were one, to showcase a patient self-advocacy session. 2, to continue on with the interpretation study begun some time back. 3, to present a national grand rounds on the calls to action for health. And 4, to showcase an education booth at ISOM in Montreal in actually just this month. To start off with, talking about our patient self-advocacy session, this was a passion project brought to the team by Janet at the start of her term as our community representative on the executive. It took place in early May and was a very successful event. You can see here our guest speakers. So we had Andrea Zachary, who's a deaf community advocate, Maya Rahu, who spoke with us both from her expertise in social work, but also as a mom with a child living with a disability. We had Christine Hanna, who's an emergency physician with an expertise in pain, as well as live American Sign Language interpretation to allow full participation of our speakers and participants. The language interpretation study being led by a member at large, Dr. James Liu, is well underway and has now received the key research ethics board permissions that it needed to take the next steps. Please do stay tuned. There will be more about this for committee members coming to your inboxes. The Cape National Grand Rounds on the calls to action for health were held on May 7th, and we had great participation, good related questions, and lots of subsequent discussion around the practical application of the calls to action for health in everyday emergency medicine. Our speakers included Dr. Kelly Soros, Taylor Dupuis-Shalovsky, who is one of our 2 student reps on the executive of the committee, and Dr. James Liu. The video for this is available for CAPE members through the CAPE website. Finally, we were excited to offer for the first time ever an education marketplace booth on the calls to action for health. This was very much led by our student reps in Bethlehem and Taylor, and provided a way for people to explore the practical application of the calls to action for health in their own emergency departments. The website developed by Taylor to accompany the education booth is an excellent way of accessing ongoing self-learning about Indigenous health and history in Canada, and will be made available through the CAPE website. Our priorities for the coming year include the next steps of the language interpretation study, recruiting new executive members, exploring ways of further incorporating an equity lens in CAPE education activities, and exploring our resource center. I look forward to hearing from members of our committee and prospective members of our committee about your ideas for advancing equity, diversity, and inclusion in emergency medicine in Canada. Thank you very much.